Okay, first of all, I want to remind everybody tonight's a Chodesh. So there's Yalav Yovi by Ma'ariv. Also, tomorrow after davening, we begin saying the Nasi every day with tomorrow's a longer Nasi. It gives the whole introduction to the Nasiim. And then you have the Yiratzin you say after, it's in the Siddur. You say the Nasi plus the Yiratzin after the Nasi, and that's it. There's no what? Starting tomorrow. Now there's no tachnun now until the end of the whole month. There's no tachnun. Coming back to Mechiras Chametz, so it's interesting. We mentioned that people shouldn't make a mistake that you come to sell chametz when you after you get rid of all the chametz. That's when you can come and sell the chametz to the rabbi. In fact, a lady called me tonight. She says, "What's the earliest I can sell chametz because my house is not ready yet?" So I said to her, "You could sell it as early as possible because what happens is that you forget." Because there's a very big problem. This happens, I'm sure, by every Rav. I know by me it happens a lot. Erev Pesach, in the afternoon, unbelievable amount of calls. I forgot to sell my chametz. I thought they did it. I thought this one did it. I thought this one did it.
Are we stopping it next week?
Huh? Next week is fine. I forgot to sell my chametz. The truth is, it's a very big shaila. Now, what I do is, I make a condition with the guy when I sell the chametz, that all those people that wanted to sell it and just didn't get around to it, people that sold it last year but forgot to sell it this year. So I make all these conditions with the guy that everything should be included in the sale. Now, many Rabbanim agree with that. I mean, there's no choice. What are you going to do? They're not selling it. And some Rabbanim are of the opinion, they're strict, and they say, no, the guy didn't sell his chametz, that's it. Let him throw out all his chametz. Real chametz, you have to throw out. But the most Rabbanim today are more lenient with that, and they say if you make a condition with the guy that the people that wanted to sell and sold, because of the concept of Zochen L'Adam Shlei B'Fanav, you could do something good for somebody without him knowing about it.
For his favor.
For his family.
For his favor.
Huh?
For his favor.
For his favor, yeah. It's something which is beneficial for him. Now it's interesting, the Rebbe didn't want that things that came from the Rebbe should be sold with the chametz. There's a famous story with Rebbe Marash when he was a little kid. When he went to Cheder, there was a minig, it's called a Reinfirnish Cheder, or in Hebrew it's called Achnosel Cheder. The way it used to, they still do it today, by the way. When a kid starts going into Cheder for the first day, they wrap the kid up in a talus in the house. He closes his eyes, he doesn't see anything. They bring him to the car. They bring him to the Cheder with the closed talus. They sit him down by the table. There's a lot of different custom with honey, with letters, whatever. And then they tell him to say Aleph Beis, and he says Aleph, and then candy starts flying at him. And then he says Beis, and then candies. And the child is told that the candies come from Malch Michal. And they tell him when you learn Torah, it's going to be sweet like candies, and you're going to get a lot of candies, and you're going to get a lot of things. So the Rebbe Marash was a little kid, had candies that Malach Michal gave him. And he didn't want to sell them. They were holy candies. He didn't want to sell them to the guy. So the Tzemach Tzedek was going through the kid's pockets. He found those candies. They were put away somewhere. So the Tzemach Tzedek said to him, you have to eat it before Pesach. But the Rebbeim, even when the Rebbe used to give out mashke, even like Yiral of Nissen, the Rebbe would always tell people, finish it before Pesach. He didn't want things in the Rebbeim to be sold in the chametz. In fact, the Rebbe himself also didn't sell his chametz straight to the guy. The Rebbe didn't appoint a Rav to sell his chametz. The Rebbe actually sold the chametz to the Rav with an order of Kabbalah, which was very interesting because it's a Jew, but the Rebbe would sell his chametz, the night of B'dikas chametz, to the Rav, not making the Rav the agent. They actually sold it to the Rav with an order of Kabbalah, and then it was the Rav's thing, so the Rebbe's things didn't go straight to the guy because it was the Rav's things. But that's a spiritual thing, we don't do that. What?
The traditional halacha that we get every year, that
Kosher bracha is not chametz.
It's not, I mean,
So now mashke would be.
it's not.
Arul mashke, the Rebbe wanted to finish it.
So if you don't say, what's the option? I know someone that has like, let's say 20 mashkas from the Rebbe.
But mashke or wine?
Mashke.
How would you,
The Rebbe wanted them to finish it.
if you don't finish it, why?
Rebbe also wanted.
That's why you have to finish them before.
The Rebbe wanted us to behave, that we don't. I mean, what's the difference? He wanted...
Is there a way of basically putting it away and not?
No, then then you have to throw the chametz out of the mashke out after Pesach. It's mamish chametz that you have over Pesach.
Can you sell it back?
Kosher bracha is not kosher Pesach.
What's the problem? It's not real chametz.
I understand, but you're still selling it, meaning it's the Rebbe's wine that you're selling. So my question.
No, why do you have to sell it? If it's not chametz, you don't have to sell it. It's not chametz. Wine is not chametz.
It's not kosher with Pesach. Chametz steak, it's not kosher.
What do you mean chametz steak? Nobody's telling you to drink it on Pesach. Why is it chametz steak? What chametz got into the wine?
You put it something, I don't know, sometimes you refill it from a bottle of wine. You don't know, I don't know, stuff happens.
You ever see what?
Is your bottle of wine always kosher with Pesach? All bottles of wine?
No, but I'm not saying you have to sell dafka with the chametz. There are certain wines where, by the way, are not kosher lePesach. Not all wines are kosher lePesach. Huh?
Which one?
So when the Manischewitz's wine, it says not for Pesach.
When you refill the...
Yeah, by the way, when you get wine, you always have to make sure it's kosher lePesach. But even when you fill it, again, it's not real chametz. Ideally, they should drink up the kosher bracha or mix it into other things. But again, chametz, the Rebbe didn't want his chametz to be sold to goyim or things that belong to the Rebbeim.
What about the Rebbe's wine that we get, that we have every Shabbos?
No, again, that's not chametz. You don't put it out on the chametz stick table, but it's not
We cannot
chametz.
use it for Pesach.
You can't use it for Pesach, but that doesn't mean it's chametz stick.
But you're still stuck, I mean, everything is...
It's not chametz. The wine is not chametz. You wouldn't use it on the table Pesach, but you can't say that you're obligated to sell that chametz.
The wine that you re-pour into the little bottle is also
It's
not...
not chametz that you have to sell. I'm not saying you should use a kosher bracha and Pesach at the Seder, but it's not chametz stick that you have to sell.
For Pesach, but it's not chametz.
Correct. Okay, so people have to make sure that they sell chametz on time and they don't wait for the last minute because then you have a lot of shilas. Now, the question is like this. What happens, in fact, I had an interesting shilah, but not about selling chametz. Somebody called me this year. They're going to be in Eretz Yisrael for the first days, husband and wife. They're going to be in Eretz Yisrael for the first days, and Chutz La'aretz back in America for the second days. So now the question is like this. Our opinion is that every writes that if you go to Eretz Yisrael with your wife, so then you keep one day. But now he's coming back in the middle of Pesach, so now the question is, what do you do with the 1 day and the 2 days?
But he's here.
Leave the wine
He's
here in
here.
Israel.
Rabbi, the second day is here, so you should go put it on.
Okay, so the answer is the first days and the last days have nothing to do with each other. First days you have to keep 1 day, you come back, you have to keep second days. But the question is, see that guy, where he should sell his chametz, he has to sell it in Israel, because by the time this man comes, or, as I mentioned, some Rabbanim I also do that, they make a mechiras chametz a day earlier, for those people that are going to Israel. So then the Rav sells the chametz a day earlier for those people. It's a separate shtar for those people that it's shtar mechiras chametz is the same, but it's the same. It's a different authorization paper that people go to, the people going to Israel.
Who does he sell it with?
Huh?
This guy that's coming back, who does he sell the
He has to sell in Israel.
He's selling in Israel?
Yeah.
Even though he's...
Well, he can sell it here to somebody that sells a day earlier.
But they're going to buy back a day later.
Oh, so now the question is, this is what I'm coming to. The question is, if a guy from Israel comes to America and he sold his chametz in Israel, now it comes the last day. Here is still Pesach. Israel only keeps 1 day. Now that it's like 9, now they're changing the clock 1 hour ahead, so it's going to be 10 hours this week, March 24th. They just saw. Huh? They changed the clock in Israel. So now it's going to be 10 hours. Now he's at 10 hours, but they buy it back a day earlier because they only have 7 days. So the question is, how can somebody in America sell his chametz to a Rav in Israel when they're going to buy it back a day earlier? But the answer to that, it's not a problem at all. Because, again, the Rav is acting as your agent to buy back the Chametz, to sell your Chametz and to buy it back. So he's your agent. Halachically, I don't have to acquire something I don't want to acquire. So the Rav is buying it back as my agent, but I don't want to acquire the Chametz yet. I don't want to acquire the Chametz until Pesach is over by me. So therefore, it's not a problem selling the Chametz there, because again, when they buy it back in Israel, I don't have to acquire it, and it's not, I can't force somebody to buy something, to acquire something they don't want to. Okay, that's basically the concepts of Mechiras Chametz. So we learned all the various kinyanim that the rabbi does with the guy, the shtar, the money, the down payment, the kabbalah, the kinyan suda, the mafteach, the handshake, and everything else, and the shtar.
Just a few moments, I'm sorry. If they started in Israel, they came here, so they keep, what do they do? 2 days or 1 day?
In Israel, they kept 1 day. Now, when they come back here, they'll keep 2 days.
But if they're planning to come, so they keep 2 days when they're there?
No. Well,
Sphira, they go.
What's gonna happen?
the only problem is Australia over the dateline. Like this, that's just not a problem with Sfira.
What's gonna happen with Omers? They count the Omer.
Who?
They come back.
Oh,
It's not a problem.
the
The only problem by Sfira Sa'imeh, which we will learn, is when you cross the international dateline, when you lose a day at one time. If you lose 9 hours, 10 hours, it's not taking away from the completeness of the day. That means you have the whole 49 days, people travel from here to Israel. What do you do with Sfira Sa'imeh? It's not a problem. The only problem is when you go across the international dateline.
That's why some people.
To Australia or to Hong Kong, I mean any of those places which is a day ahead. China.
Hawaii.
I heard of people that flew to Israel to get to China. So it's not going to be like losing it.
We flew like that in 1971 when the Rebbe sent us to Australia. We went during Sfira. We went, that's why I ended up being in Iran. The Rebbe sent us to Israel, Iran, India, and Australia.
Iran?
Yeah,
Is it going to be Iran?
I did.
yeah, I ran.
I didn't see you there.
He ran from Iran.
I know.
Hawaii.
Why?
Is there?
Hawaii, the way we hold is like Hawaii. It's not the problem with Shabbos or Dateline or... Huh? There are many poskim. The Litvish poskim hold you're not allowed to be in Hawaii Shabbos. Because they have, according to certain opinions, the Dateline goes through Hawaii. So you don't know which is... The Frierdiker Rebbe said that we keep Hawaii like the people there do.
The Hawaiian Steve shows.
I mean, like the people with the Saturday there is Saturday. I mean, that's not...
The Hawaiians keep Shabbos.
Huh?
The Hawaiians keep Shabbos.
What?
What's the problem in Hawaii?
Because you don't know which day, if you don't know what side of the dateline it's on, you don't know halachically if it's Shabbos or Sunday or Friday or Shabbos.
The locals know, so...
The locals know, they don't know. A lot of Flumiyid don't go to Hawaii for Shabbos because of that. But we don't hold like that.
Because of the crisis.
So what if we keep that hour extra? Shabbos.
No, it's not a question of an hour extra, it's a question of a day extra.
But even if you get lost, you just count on your count. So if you counted 7 days from last
But
Shabbos,
if you're not lost,
okay, but if you counted 7 days from the last Shabbos, that's your Shabbos anyway.
and if you go to Australia, that's what you do?
No, because in Australia you definitely pass the daylight.
So?
Everyone in Australia is keeping Shabbos there.
So, but you can't do the suffix. So they hold, the Litvish hold that if somebody's in Hawaii, you have to keep 2 days Shabbos, and you can't do malacha both days, and you can do something, you do Kiddush one day, you tefillin one day, I don't know, it's all ganzamai.
This is the first time I ever heard it.
Like some people are lost and they
Have you heard of what?
Hawaii Shabbos.
That's why you have to be Chabad, not literature.
That's one of the many reasons. I'll give you a lot more reasons.
it's Sephardi.
Yeah, you never have to say Tachnu.
No, if you're Peilusha, you don't see Tachna. But
If they ever have to say Tachnon, they kill somebody and then they don't say.
is that the only thing you never heard? Shimshon. Anyway, that's the story. Okay. Machin